I teach you the maneuvers your body's going to go through and what your plane's going to do, and you have to pay attention. But as we've all known tonight, I have ADD so bad that this guy giving me all these safety instructions might as well have been Charlie Brown's school teacher going wah 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 wah. Because I'm just sitting there going, ooh, look, flight helmet. Oh, shiny object. All of a sudden he goes, now, if your pilot says the words eject, 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 and I'm like, wait. That wasn't in the brochure. He said, Bill, it could happen and you need to know what to do. I'm like, oh, Jesus. He goes, if you hear the word eject, there's a yellow and black handle between your legs. He's got one, you've got one. You hear the word eject, you grab that handle and you jerk it straight up. And I went, okay. Probably not going to be able to do that. He said, why not? I go, 'cause I'll be wiping myself. He said, well, you better grab it, son, because here's what's going to happen in a period of 3 seconds. There's a mortar rocket underneath your seat. Oh, awesome. I got a big old bullet pointed right at my butt. He said, the mortar rocket will fire off, your seat will eject from the plane, your chute will open, you'll float to the ground like a feather. And I said, yeah, from a bird that's just been hit by a hand grenade. What the hell are you talking about? All of a sudden, in walks my pilot, and these cats are Joe cool. It's not even fair how cool they are. They got good hair, they got that chiseled chin, they got that cool walk like it's in slow motion. He walks, he goes, Mr. Envall, I'm your pilot. I want you to relax. Been flying for 20 years. I've only had to eject 5 times, everything went great. I said, hey, Colonel Math, that's not that good of odds. He goes, I'm just kidding, I've never had to eject. Oh, great, I got the funny pilot. What kind of sick joke is that? Then they put me in my flight suit. Oh my God. I look good. It fit like a glove. I got the United States flag here, the Thunderbird patch here, the Air Force patch over here. They gave me a flight helmet with the nickname Tex. Shut up. And he goes, I'll tell you how good I looked. Even Gail went, And then I ruined it by going, y'all sell these in the gift shop by any chance? No. So they start putting this other suit on me. I said, what's this? They said, this is your G suit, Mr. Envall. They said, you're going to pull 9 Gs today. They say, you pull 9 Gs, we're going to give you a little lapel pin that says 9 Gs, and not everybody's got one of those. I don't know what 9 Gs is. I went to public school. For those of you who don't know, 9 Gs is like getting the snot beat out of you for 15 seconds. Now here's the difference between a man and a woman. You tell a woman, ma'am, you get snot beat out of you for 15 seconds, we'll give you a little pin. You know what she says? Keep your pin. Guys, we're idiots. You tell us we get the snot beat out of us for 15 seconds and you put a gold sticky star on our forehead, we're like, let's get it on! I said, well, how's it work? He goes, it squeezes your thighs and your torso and forces blood back up to your brain. He said, that's why people pass out during a G maneuver, Mr. Envall, because the blood drains from their brain. And I'm thinking, oh, jeez. With my size brain, please. A good poop, I'm on the tile floor. Hope I didn't shatter any fantasies. I'm sorry. That is my favorite joke. Only because every time I do it, I catch some woman's face with this look like, no, not really. We're just about to walk out to the jet when the medic runs in and puts a folded plastic bag on each of my thighs. I go, what's this for? He said, puke. I said, I'm sorry? He goes, you're going to throw up, Bill. Everybody throws up. President Reagan threw up, President Carter threw up, your buddy Drew Carey puked. He said, you're going to throw up. I went, great. I got a bullet pointed at my butt and I'm going to puke. Why didn't I do this earlier in my life? Yeehaw. And so he puts the bags on there and he leaves. We start walking out on the tarmac where the jet is, and y'all, they have painted my name on the jet. Oh. Well, it was more like, but you got it. You got it. They're clipping me in the back seat, and the guy clipping me in looks at me and goes, Envall, look at me. Don't throw up. I go, well, I'm going to try not. He goes, hey, don't throw up. I go, everybody throws up. President Reagan, President Carter, my buddy Drew, he goes, don't you throw up. I go, why not? And he goes, that's my mask. All of a sudden that canopy goes, and I heard, it was my ass. What am I doing here? I don't even like roller coasters. I'm sitting in the back seat of an F-15, and then Dork Bill shows up. I don't know what came over me, but I thought if I don't talk like a pilot, this jet won't work right. He goes, Mr. Envall, you ready to have a good time today? And I went, Roger. I couldn't shut up. He's laughing at me. He goes, all right. He goes, why don't we taxi out to the end of the runway, get ready for takeoff? And I go, Roger on taxi, Roger, takeoff, Roger, Roger. He goes, Bill. And I said, Roger. He said, you can just say, okay. And I'm like, oh, sorry. Roger. Yeah, I'm not taking any chances. So we're sitting at the end of the runway just kind of talking back and forth when all of a sudden in my helmet I hear the tower go, Thunderbird 7, you are cleared for takeoff and steep ascent has been approved.
Oh God.
Steep ascent? That must have been during the walk. We start rolling down the runway. He goes, all right, hang on, Mr. Envall, here come the afterburners. I'm like, whatever. Good God, my ears touched. We are screaming down this runway. And he's calling the speed out to me like, I need to know this. He goes, there's 350, 400, 450, here we go. And y'all, we went straight up. And I'm in the back seat going, he pulls out of it and he goes, you're right back there? I go, what the hell was that? Roger, 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 Roger. He goes, let's do a barrel roll. I don't know what a barrel roll is. He cranks that plane over, he goes, I got vomit right there. But I can't throw up. Because for me to puke, this what would have had to have happened. I'd have to gag, pull a plastic bag off my leg, open it up, puke, tie it off, put my mask back on, put my mask back off, put it back, put it on. I ain't got that kind of time. All I'm thinking is, please don't kill me up here. He goes, I want you to get an appreciation for how fast we're going. I said, how fast are we going? He said, 600 miles an hour.
Oh.
And I said, I appreciate that. He said, no, let's find a car. And I said, are we going to shoot it? He goes, no, but with another object, I'll get going next to it with another object. You can see how fast we're going. I go, is that legal? He goes, I don't know, but it's fun. Now, we're doing these maneuvers in a place called Death Valley, which, as you know, is a valley of death. And I don't know why this man was driving his station wagon through Death Valley that particular day, but I know this, he won't do it again. We come up behind him and all he heard was I look back, all four of his wheels are locked up and he's fishtailing. My pilot's giggling like a schoolgirl and goes, let's do some treetops. We go screaming up the face of this mountain. We are 5 feet off the tops of 100-foot pines. Y'all, I saw bears pooping. They didn't want to. Oh no, they were just lumbering along and heard. He goes, let's do some canyons. I don't know what doing canyons is. I found out. Remember in the movies when they're doing this in close, we start doing that. And all I can hear is this woman's voice going, terrain, pull up, terrain, pull up. And I'm like, should we be listening to that woman? We land back at the Air Force Base, y'all. It was like out of Top Gun. The grounds crew salute me, they're cheering my name. I looked over at Gail, I swear to God, the wind's blowing her hair in slow motion. I'm hearing Kenny Loggins music playing. The jet comes to a stop, the canopy opens, I pull off my helmet, and Gail goes, "How'd it go, babe?" I went, just a big old dork. Tell you what, though, that was cool. But he was trying to make me puke. But I'll tell you, I didn't puke. So here's another one for you. Well, my son was probably 9 or 10. For his birthday one year, I got him a pocket knife. Now, any guy in this room will tell you that when your old man gives you a pocket knife for your birthday, that's more than a gift. That's a rite of passage. And it was just a little Swiss Army knife. It wasn't anything big. Well, everything was fine. Till one day, Gail's looking out the kitchen window, and she sees our boy and his best friend jumping up and down the trampoline, and my son's got the knife blade out. And Gail's like, no, you got to take that knife away. I go, no, you can't take it away. It's like a rite of passage. It'll kill him. She goes, well, you better do something, because I'm not going to call that other boy's mom and tell him he got stabbed because we let him jump up and down the trampoline with a knife blade out. I said, well, what do you want me to do? She goes, I don't know, Bill. This is your whole manhood journey thing. You deal with it. So I'm walking out to the trampoline. I'm just thinking, it's going to break his little heart. And I got about halfway there, and I had a genius thought. I said, I'll just take the knife for a second. I'll clip the blade of the knife off, give him back the rest of the knife. Everybody's happy, right? Have you ever tried to cut the blade off a knife? Well, let me tell you something. It's like made of steel.
Stainless steel.
I tried pliers, they didn't work. Wire snips didn't work. I go, I need a pair of bolt cutters. So I put the knife in my pocket and I drove over to the Home Depot to get a pair of bolt cutters. But they want $50 a pair. I think that's a little overpriced. I mean, hell, I only need it for one job. I know what I'll do. I'll just borrow their bolt cutters, snip the blade off the knife, put the bolt cutters back, give my son his knife back. Everybody's happy. I'm in the lumber section of the Home Depot, hiding behind some plywood, with a pair of basically stolen bolt cutters. And I'm squeezing on the blade of that knife, and I'm squeezing, I heard dink, and I went, ow, God! And I look, and the knife has flown into my shoulder.
Oh.
My shirt is soaking with blood. I'm like, what the hell? And I can't pull the blade out. I've seen those TV shows. And it's not like I can go to the Home Depot manager and go, hey, dude, I gave my son a pocket knife for his birthday, and you know that's like a rite of passage, but my wife saw him jumping up and down the trampoline with a knife blade out. Well, apparently that's a button push for her. Said, you got to take it away. I said, you can't take it away. It's like a rite of passage. She said, well, you better do something, because I'm not going to call that other boy's mom and tell him he got stabbed because we let him jump up and down the trampoline with a knife blade out. So I thought, I'll just cut the blade of the knife off. But have you ever tried that? It's like made of steel. I tried pliers, they didn't work. They didn't work. So I went and got a pair of bolt cutters. You want $50 a pair. I think that's a little overpriced, don't you? So I just thought I'd borrow your bolt cutters. I went behind the lumber section there, cut the blade of that knife off, and now I'm stuck. I can't say that. So I just ran out of the Home Depot, dripping blood the whole way. I'm sure somebody in lumber's like, what the hell's happening now? I get in my car and I drive to one of these urgent care centers, just like in a mall parking lot. Let me tell you something, when you walk into an urgent care center with a knife blade sticking out of you and a bloody shirt, they freak. Well, they're the earache, sore throat people. They don't see blood. I walked in with that bloody shirt and that knife blade sticking out of me, and this woman starts screaming, this is not a drill. This is not a drill. We have a bleeder. We have a bleeder. They throw me on this gurney. They're running me down the hallway, and I literally had this thought, oh my God, Bill, have you finally done something so stupid that you're going to die from it? They put me in this room, and in walks this Indian doctor, Dr. Bashar. I'll never forget. We're still friends to this day. He walked in that exam room, and that knife was sticking out of me, and he goes, good God, man, what happened to you? I said, dude, I gave my son a pocket knife for his birthday, and you know that's like a rite of passage, but my wife saw him jumping up and down the trampoline with a knife blade out. Well, apparently that's a button push for her. Said, you got to take it away. I said, you can't take it away. It's like a rite of passage. So you better do something, because I'm not going to call that other boy's mom, tell him he got stabbed, and let him jump up and down the trampoline with a knife blade out. I thought, well, I know what I'll do. I'll just cut the blade of the knife off. But good God, it's like made of steel. I tried pliers, they didn't work. wires and that fade in work. I said, I need a pair of bolt cutters. I went over to Home Depot there to get a pair of bolt cutters. They want $50 a pair. I think that's a little low price, don't you? So I thought I'd just borrow their bolt cutters. I went behind the lumber section there, snipped that blade off that knife, and it stuck me in the shoulder. He goes, you are the dumbest man on the planet. He said, you're like that dog that chases the bird in the cartoons. I said, Wile E. Coyote? He goes, you are Wile E. Coyote. It took him an hour and a half to sew me up. Not because the cut was very big, but because he kept laughing. And every nurse that walked by, he'd go, please, please. You got to meet the dumbest man on the planet. I know, it's like he's making it up, but he's not. Then I had to tell Gail why there was a $700 charge on our visa. And she's like, what is wrong with you? I go, whoa, this is basically on you, sister. She goes, how do you figure? I go, if you just let him jump up and down the trampoline, everything would have been fine. But no, you had to throw a big hissy fit. Now look, I got a scar. Guess I won't be a model. Thanks. 2 weeks later, I'm at the archery range.
Oh, God.
I'm shooting my bow and arrow. I got little field tips on my arrows, and I shot at this target for about an hour. I got tired, put the bow and arrow in the back of the truck, and drove home. Pull up in my driveway, I got the bow and arrows in my hand. I look down, and right there is one of my son's old basketballs just laying in the dirt. And I thought to myself, wonder if a fella could shoot an arrow through a basketball.
Oh, no.
I took an arrow, I drew back. Okay, y'all. I could have done this 10,000 times and I'd have popped that basketball. But because I had field tips on my arrows, when the arrow hit the basketball seam, it hit it so perfectly, the arrow shot straight back up and the knock laid my cheek open right here. I got a flap of skin hanging, I'm bleeding. I walk in the house and Gail's like, what the hell? I said, the basketball was right there. You know what? You tell me what grown man wouldn't have looked at that basketball and thought to himself, wonder if I could shoot an arrow through a basketball. She said, I'll tell you who, Bill. Nobody. Nobody but you. God, you are going to put me in a home, I swear to Christ. I said, you think we can finish this later? I'm feeling a little lightheaded right now. So she gives me a dish towel. I'm holding it against my face. It's soaked with blood. She's driving me to the hospital. Of course, the whole way there is just tick, 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 tick. And I kept thinking, why couldn't the arrow hit me in the ear? I walk in the emergency room doors and I hear, good God, the dumbest man on the planet is back! You are putting my kids through college! It's like where we live right now. Behind our house is about a 40, 50 acre plot of woods. And on the other side of that is another neighborhood, but I don't know those folks. Probably for their benefit. Well, my next door neighbor, Phil, he puts a game camera out in the woods behind our house, and he takes pictures of the deer and elk and bear that walk through there, and then he posts it on his Facebook page. Well, one night I got an idea. Wait for it. I thought it'd be funny if I got a Bigfoot outfit. Come on, that's genius. I'd get that Bigfoot outfit and I'd walk in front of his game camera like, just to be there when he's flipping through his pictures and he goes, that's an elk, that's a deer, that's a Bigfoot, there's a bear. Oh my God! Well, what we've learned about me tonight is that when I get an idea, I don't really think it through. I just kind of roll with it. So I went to town, went to the costume shop, but they did not have a Bigfoot outfit. But they did have a movie quality Batman outfit.
Oh, no.
And I remember thinking, that is a gift from God. How much funnier will that be? He's flipping through his pictures and there's Batman. I am all in on that. And this suit was awesome. It had the mask, the cape, the shirt, the tool belt, the shorts, the boots, everything. And I wanted to do this at night, so the picture was kind of grainy, so he couldn't really see it was me. 2 summers ago, I'm sitting in my den dressed as Batman. And Gail walked by. And I could tell by the look on her face, she did not conceive of what was going on. She said, I'm scared to ask when I go. I said, okay, this is awesome. I go, you know how Phil puts those cameras in the woods behind the house? She goes, yeah. I go, well, I thought it'd be funny if I got a Bigfoot outfit. She goes, Bill, no. And I'm like, do. I said, I went to the costume shop. They did not have a Bigfoot outfit. She goes, thank God. I said, but they had this bitchin' Batman outfit. And I thought, how much funnier will that be? He's flipping through his pictures, and there's pictures of Batman. She goes, Bill, this is going to end bad. And I go, could you just not poo-poo everything you hear for once in your life? I go, this is funny. I know funny. It's my job. On a scale of 1 to 10, this is 15. She goes, I'm not going to be able to talk you out of this, am I? I said, no. I said, but I'm waiting for it to get dark so the picture will be kind of grainy so we can't really see it's me. And she goes, okay. She goes, wait a minute. She goes, it's only 6. It don't get dark for another couple hours. Why are you dressed like Batman now? I said, that is a great question. And I think we can both be honest with each other and say, who has not wanted to have sex with Batman? She goes, not only no, but hell no. I said, why not? She goes, well, I'll be happy to tell you why not. She said, let's say we do this and I kind of get into it. She goes, where does it stop? I said, I don't follow you. She goes, yes, you do. She said, because if I say yes to this, you'll be out there buying Green Lantern outfits, you'll be buying Star-Lord outfits, you're going to want me dressed like Catwoman. And the whole time I'm sitting there thinking, I ain't really heard a reason not to yet. Well, that didn't happen. So it gets dark and I book it out in the woods. Well, you know what? I get out in these pitch black woods and the thought occurs to me, I don't really know where Phil's game camera is. So now I'm just a grown man dressed like Batman in the woods in the middle of the night. This is a news story waiting to happen. Well, you know when you get out in the woods and it's dark and you start hearing things and your mind starts playing games with you? Yeah. I start flipping out. I'm like, oh, Bill, this is bad, bad, bad. What if you get killed by a mountain lion? What if a pack of wolves tears you in half? How are they going to tell your kids? Hey, kids. I don't mean to laugh, kids. This is sad. I'm sorry. Listen, we found your dad dead in the woods. Listen, we've ruled out suicide. We don't think it was a hunting accident. But here's the weird part. He was dressed like Batman. And I can hear both of my kids going, no, that ain't weird. Did you hear the one about the blue panties he had to wear? Well, thank goodness in the middle of all this, I got some sanity from when I was in the Boy Scouts. They taught us if you're ever lost in the woods to just stop, pick a point, and walk in a straight line. If you start wandering, that's when people get in trouble. He said, if you just walk straight, you'll hit a road or a fence or something. So I picked a point and I started walking. And sure enough, the Boy Scouts was right. I popped out of them woods. But now I'm in a neighborhood I've never seen before. And every house is dark but one. I walk up to this fella's back door.
Just the best Batman.
He opens the door. I said, look, man, I'm not crazy. I'm not a psycho. He goes, no. You're just a grown man dressed like Batman in my back door in the middle of the night. I said, look, buddy, my neighbor puts a game camera in those woods back there, and I thought it'd be funny if I got a Bigfoot outfit and walked in front of his game camera. But I went to town, they didn't have a Bigfoot outfit, but they had this bitchin' Batman outfit. And I remember thinking, how much funnier would that be, right? So then I was going to do it at night, and I get out in the woods, and I realized I didn't know where his game camera was, and I started freaking out because I thought I was going to get killed by a mountain lion or a pack of wolves, or how they going to tell my kids and my wife. And you know what, sir? Speaking of my wife, if she just had sex with me as Batman, none of this would have happened. Apparently she got some kind of hang-up making love to a superhero. Whatever. And then I remember the Boy Scout said to walk in a straight line. I did, and I'm at your back door. He goes, makes sense. He said, what do you need from me? And I said, could I just use your phone to call my wife? He goes, if you're brave enough. Now, ladies, sweet little ladies, as men, if we've done something stupid, trust me, we know we've done something stupid. Am I right, fellas?
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, ladies, we beat ourselves up pretty good about being that damn dumb, don't we, fellas?
Yeah.
So, ladies,
For sure.
we don't really need the lecture
Oh.
that you all feel is necessary to ice this stupidity cake, because trust me, we're going to eat it anyway. I called the house. This is how Gail answered the phone. What happened? How about hello? That's how normal people answer their phone. Hello. She goes, what happened? I go, okay. I got out in the woods and I started freaking out because I couldn't find Phil's game camera, and I thought I was going to get killed by a mountain lion or a vampire or whatever lives in those godforsaken woods, and how they going to tell the kids and you. And you know what? Speaking of you, again, this is on you. If you just had sex with me as Batman, and then I remember the Boy Scout said, if you're ever lost in the woods, to stop, pick a line. I did. I'm at this guy's house and I need you to come get me. This is what she said. I don't know where the bat keys are. Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. Do you think you can come get me, funny lady? She goes, did you leave him in the back cave? Because you know you're always changing the code. You're freaked out like the Riddler's going to get in there and steal your stuff. I don't really understand it. I go, could you just come get me, please? She goes, did you try robbing? I'm like, let it go! I hang up the phone. The guy goes, how'd it go? I said, good, good. I said, she'll be here shortly. So we're sitting in this guy's den and not a word is being said. Because I'm sure he still thinks at some point I'm going to whip out an axe and go psycho on him. Finally, he goes, hey, look, man, I don't really know the superhero code, but you can take that mask off if you want. I pulled the mask off. He goes, good God, you're Bill Engvall. Well, y'all are awesome. All my Canadian audiences are great. As some of you may know, one of my pet peeves in life is I hate stupid people. I think they should have to wear signs that just say I'm stupid. That way you wouldn't rely on them. You'd be like, excuse me, oh, never mind, I didn't see your sign. And a lot of people don't know the genesis of here's your sign. I'm going to tell you all tonight. So back when I was working in the comedy clubs, you were at a place for 5-6 days in a row, and so you had time to work on material and work it out and stuff. And the bit used to be that I thought stupid people should be slapped, which I still believe. But one day Gail came to me. She's always looking out for me. She said, you don't look like the kind of guy that walks around slapping people. So I started working on this idea of a sign that just said I'm stupid. And before I would go to a show, Gail and I would literally tie string around these little signs that people could hang around their neck, and I would sell them at the end of the show. And I'd sell them for $1 a piece or 2 for $5. You would be amazed. 2 for $5, I'll get in on that, that's good. Well, by the end of the week, I'd come home with $400 or $500 in ones, and Gail would go put the money in the bank. One day she come home from the bank, she goes, all right, you gotta stop selling signs. And I said, why? And she goes, because the bank thinks I'm a stripper. Only in my dreams. And it just kind of, when Travis Tritt came out and sang that song with me, and it just exploded. And it's to this day, 45 years later, it's still going, which is crazy. And that's a whole here's your sign bit. And for those of you who may not know what it is, it's just basically a dumb answer to stupid questions. Smart aleck answer to stupid questions. And when I do interviews, people ask me, they'll go, what's your favorite one? And I always go back to this one that I was doing a corporate job down in Pennsylvania for this company, 84 Lumber. It was their Christmas party. And they had it at this resort that had a private airstrip, and they flew me in on a private plane. But there was one light on the end of this runway so they could see where it was. When we landed on that jet on that runway, a deer jumped up in front of us and we smacked this deer. Horns went one way, antlers, hooves, everything. And we get out of the plane slid off the runway, and we were all fine, we didn't get hurt. But I called Gail and I said, "You're not gonna believe this." I go, "We just hit a deer with our airplane." And she goes, "Oh no. Wait, were you on the ground?" I said, "Nope, Santa was making one last run. Here's your sign." I was doing a show last night in where was Florida, and I had to stay the night. And so after the show, I went back to the hotel and walked up to the little girl at the front desk, and I said, "Could I get a 6:30 wake-up call, please?" She said, "Do you want me to call your room?" I said, "No, call the people next door. They'll bang on the wall. That'll wake me up." Here's your sign. My neighbor has known the bit for 20 years. Before I left to come on this road trip, I was walking my dog, and he's coming up his driveway, and he goes, "Oh, hey, Bill, you walking your dog?" I said, "Nope, walking a leash. Damn dog just ran right into it." Here's your sign. I had one happen to me during COVID. Remember, did they do that up here where, like, if you went out to eat, they would rub that thing on your forehead, checking for fever?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were doing. So one night, Gail and I went out to dinner, and this poor little girl's just doing her job, and I'm being a smart ass. She's rubbing that thing on my forehead, and I said, "Oh, you checking for fever?" She goes, "Nope, checking for morons. Found one." And he looked at me and said, "Here's your sign."